So I want to come back to the research that you've done and just talk a little bit about that actual research, the process that you
Sure.
used to talk to people, and then the books that resulted out of that.
Sure. Okay. I based my first book, which was all about consulting. It was aimed at undergraduates. This is what consulting is. This is how it works. These are the careers. This is the life cycle that you go through. And that was based on my own experience, but also I've got lots of people who would work, lots of friends in effect, who worked at the big firms to chip in with their own ideas. So I've produced a fairly standard online course, but it's also a book in terms of how to do consulting well. And it's all the hints and tips that you pick up over a lifetime, everything from really pushing the client on understanding their problem, all the way through to delivering, but then looking more work afterwards and the different ways of doing that. I guess the book that's most pertinent to this discussion was the one I published a couple of years ago, which is called Growth, Building a Consultancy in the Digital Age. And that was published with Routledge, and it was based on 70 interviews with founders who grew and sold their firms. And I've also obviously got my own experience of growing and selling a firm, helping others grow and sell their firms. So I combined all of this, and there were loads of interesting insights around, firstly, growing. I'm not a fan, I'm pleased you use the word growing. I'm not a fan of the word scaling when it comes to consultancies, because scaling comes from the image industry, where you take a tiny image and you just make it bigger. So you're doing the same thing, but at scale. And that doesn't really happen in the consulting industry. Once you get to Deloitte size, then, okay, so you're turning the handle and you're usually using the leverage model. But for consultancies, it's much more about growth, and growth is harder, because with growth, you're still very much in the phase of experimentation. And it's a lot more messy. There's a lot more luck involved. And so really trying to understand what worked for CEOs when starting their own firm, growing it and selling it. And some of them, all of their lessons were about starting. I wish I had a client in hand when I'd left my big consultancy. I wish that I'd taken on a partner sooner. I wish that I'd shared equity sooner. But some of them were quite happy with that part. But when it came to exit, they wished they hadn't sold to the highest bidder, or they wished that they hadn't focused so much on margin and focused a little bit more on the infrastructure, or they wished that they'd pursued that SaaS project that they had in the back of the head but never developed. So it was really a reflection on all the different aspects of growing and selling a firm in the 21st century as opposed to 20 years ago.